I have to put it in. So normally there's a little person here in the middle of the screen. I'm going to hit my, it did it again. Hold on. No, that's fine. Okay, so this, of course, now it's being all weird. I'm gonna here. All right. So basically, the way it has. Oh, what is it doing? Hold on, guys. Hold on. Got this. All right, F12. Why is it giving me? Okay. So basically, what's happening is normally there's a little character in the middle of the screen that you guys have seen throughout the semester. I've been making them animate and stuff, and I am attempting to get this very simple array out of Firebase, right? It's literally it's here. I got and I know that this is probably a silly way of doing it, but I'm just trying to get a name out with it, basically an ID associated with it, just to fulfill the requirement of using XML HTTP request, right? So I made it real easy. You get the ID, it associates with a name and so on, right? It used to have more fields, but I don't really need them. I don't really need this, to be honest, but I'm trying to fulfill the requirement. Now I can get that. This is my request right here. And so I make it, I set it up, and essentially what happens is I have this get character data that runs this request, but I reference it down here before this request is finished. But then I use this characters array like throughout, like here, right, to kind of set up the title and to set up a bunch of other things. But my issue is I don't know what's going on. My brain's melting something. I can't figure out how to make sure that these things don't run until this has an answer, but also make sure that that's global because I use it in all sorts of other functions.
What if you put the thing that makes it make that inside the GET request?
What do you mean? Like I take this, here, let me go to my code. So this is basically the same thing. Are you saying this guy?
Yeah, is it a global character? Like, instead of declaring it, like declare it globally, but don't initialize it or something, and then initialize it inside the characters equals. Oh, so I see what you're saying. You've got it there.
So basically, yeah. So basically, what happens is like this will load up, and this actually does here. Maybe I can walk through the. So.
So Michael, what's the next step after? Well, what's the first thing it tries to do?
Okay.
After that.
So basically, here we're hit. I just refreshed it, so it's running through, right? So it essentially goes through and it says, "Hey, cool, do your request," right? And up here, it did it, or it's working on it, but it's not the right state. So it goes through and it says, "All right, request information, cool, did it." Goes, it sets this guy, which that's bad, obviously. And that's where it kind of bombs out, but it does keep doing this because that's where it's essentially making, like waiting for the ready state to be right.
Yeah.
And then it'll keep going, and at this point, it does it again, I think. Oh no, it didn't. This does actually fill out though. Keep going. Okay, so I think next is where it fills out. Yeah, so like it got it. It's just it's gone through and tried to use it in all sorts of other places first.
So Michael, here, what you can do is, and you know how you're going to do it depends on how many times it tries to use it.
Mm-hmm.
But everywhere where it tries to use that variable,
mm-hmm.
just put that inside of a function, and call that function from inside your if request.ready state equals thing. So then it won't call the function until it's already gotten the information out.
Okay, so I'm trying to think because basically the way it's sort of architected, and so I think that will probably work. Let me see. So basically, what I do is I take that, I take this character data, I get its length, whatever. I use that for like navigating and whatnot, and then I set the title, but I also set like the character HTML, which is like setting all of my information here.
Yep.
And effectively, let's see, on load, it does the get character, right? And then it sets the, oh, so.
So put set character inside of your
Yeah, but it's still going to
inside of
try
your
and
thing.
define this, right?
Yeah, you'll have to put that that one you're hovering over right now.
Mm-hmm.
You'll have to put that inside of a function too, and not call that function until after it's already loaded your JSON data.
Okay, so it looks like I only really use this in the navigation and the title.
Okay.
So set title. All right, so I think basically if I instead put this set character inside of here and how do I get that out of there? So how do I reference? Oh, because it'll already have been set. Okay, hold on. I'm trying to understand, and it may take a second. So basically, you're saying here's my event on load. So this just runs when the page loads, and it's saying get character data, which is this, and select character all. So in theory, I could take this, which is what's calling all the other stuff, and just put it right here.
Correct. Yes.
Okay, let me do this real quick. But what that's going to do is that's still, once this fails out because this ready state is not correct, it's still going to try and do this.
Yes, and that needs to be put either inside of another function, or you can put that somehow inside of that same if statement.
You know, it's
You
silly.
can.
I think I could just put it in, I think I could just put it in my navigation.
Okay. And then you said there's one more place where you're using it, or you can use it like that, I guess. Yeah, you can set it more than once, right?
So you're calling set characters on 83 too. Oh, I see.
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, set character, but that's fine because that at that point everything should have loaded. I'm like question mark. I'm not sure. So what does this do to me? So basically we go and we run through the thing again. We set our nav counter up and then we do this again. So that's actually looking pretty good. At that point we have, okay, cannot read 0 of undefined. Oh. Nope, don't know what that means. Well, it didn't crash out in the same way, so that's good. Set title. Why would it need to read 0?
Can you go to that? Yeah.
So I think that's the same problem I was having because characters is undefined. But how?
You go back up to if you look at that right there, it says var characters equals json.parse. You're creating a new local variable right there.
Okay.
Which supersedes the other global variable that you already have.
This hasn't been defined yet either, because that's what this is doing.
Yeah, but that var dot characters, I believe you're just creating a local variable which gets deleted as soon as it falls out of scope. You need to make that into if you're going to use it more than once, you either need to make it a global variable. Yeah, just make that into a global, like you have that var characters right there.
Right here?
No, the other one, the one below that. Yeah. Just do var character semicolon.
Okay. This guy?
Yeah. Now go back up to your if block.
Oh, Sorry. Hold on. Let me go back. All right. Up here.
Yeah, then take out the var out of your where it says var characters. Take out the var.
Now, will that references the same one?
It should, because it should look for the last
So
variable named characters.
we don't
And
need
it
to
shouldn't have
return
to
that
return
even.
characters at that point. Right.
Okay. So basically, it is setting the nav counter. That's awesome. Yep, doing its thing. And now I think it is. So it gets it, and now it's running the set character. And now it has that. Nope. Oh, that's okay. I can figure that out. Oh, undefined. What? I'm like, everything is breaking. It's falling apart. Probably because when it went to build, oh, that was the other thing. So, because I set this up to be synchronous at some point, but it is not giving this as like an array. Like it's not reading this. So basically what happens is I'm parsing it, right? So in theory, characters is an array that looks like this.
Yes.
Right? When I just use this variable and I remove the stuff, it works. When I get it back from here, see, because it's saying undefined, so essentially it's saying, hey, this characters is undefined here, I believe. See, because the way, I'm sorry, this is pretty involved. If you look at this file down here, undefined laugh .wave, that happens because I essentially set up my current character here using this thing, this array, right, with the counter and the name. I see. No, yeah. And so this basically is undefined. Is this making sense?
Yeah, it's making sense.
Oh, okay.
So I think they started depreciating synchronous requests, like Google made them not work in Chrome.
Mm-hmm.
But that's really kind of what you need to have happen is you need to say, hey, wait until this gets done.
I was trying to make that not the case, but I mean that's what I feel like. So here, when I set this guy, we have, so see characters, right? So it should be characters 0 with the name. So it should be, I can't show you, like it should be this. Here, can we do that? So what is, can I look at this whole thing? Why is that undefined?
Why does it say .enter HTML? Is
Because
that an element?
Yeah, I'm setting an element to
okay.
that result. So basically what I'm doing is the request, see characters array is pulling out, it's getting the name is what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
And put it in the sprite name header. Because I'm just trying to fulfill this requirement of like, here's an XML HTTP thing. So it's weird because I have the array there and then the nav counter is 0, you can see, right? And then it's getting the name field. So it should be 0 colon that squiggly bracket name, it should be Terra. So this should be Terra.
Go back over your sprite name.
Here?
Yeah, that one right there. Yeah.
What
is that? Is that, I mean, what element does that represent?
Oh, that is defined. I wonder if I messed up the. No, it's a global. So it's get element ID sprite name, and that is this guy right here.
Okay.
So in theory, this is correct. Yeah, it says H2 sprite name. That's right. So it's got that guy. So my only thought was that it's not parsing it correctly, but it's right here. You can see it. So that doesn't make sense.
Have you stepped it through with the debugger so you can watch the variable values as it moves?
That is what I'm doing, unless I misunderstand. Like, is there a way to just log the things or something? Can I just watch a variable over here?
Yeah, over in local, it tells you the variables in the spot where you're at right in that moment. And then, so then you can, well, no, there's no variables on the line you're at. Or like,
Oh, I see.
where you're at right now, there's none. So if you push the next button, well, that goes to the next stopping point. But there's a down arrow that points at like a dot. That'll step over to the right too. It's up at the top.
Oh, this guy.
Well, it's pointing down. The one that points down is the one I usually click on. It'll go one line at a time through your code. And then what's in local changes.
Yeah, see? So it's saying current character is undefined, even though I can see, like, that's...
Usually that happens because something's wrong. It doesn't always tell you why something's wrong.
Can I just do this then? Go back up and say...
That takes you out of the function you're currently in. The buttons are, the one that looks like an arc is saying step over the next function call. So it doesn't go down into that function, it skips over it. The down button says go into the function, and the up button says come out of that function. I don't know what the one that points to the right does. I've never.
A step over.
Just going. It's just running it step by step. So basically it's saying, hey.
Variable and watch for the moment when it doesn't do what it's supposed to. And then you know your problem is right there.
Right. All right. Well, shoot. I think that is super useful. Because it's running it line by line, essentially. Yes. So it's going through and saying, hey, on load, do this guy. And so here. That is...
So then you can look at your variable values, and if you see that it's needing to be parsed and isn't, then you can parse it. Or it's parsed and it shouldn't be parsed because it's already not a string.
Mm-hmm.
Then it helps you understand why it's becoming undefined.
All right. Well, I think I have a different problem then. So basically, what it looks like, right, is we have the information, but it's not pulling it out. It's a string. Is it always supposed to have quotes around it? If it's a...
It's so small, I can't tell what it says.
Sorry. So see, it has quotes on it?
It shouldn't have quotes around everything. If it has quotes around everything, that means it needs to be parsed. But if you just parsed it, didn't you?
I mean, I thought so. But that's what it looks. So here, sorry, I don't know how to make that bigger.
Like,
oh my goodness. There we go.
Tiny.
Does anybody know how to make it bigger?
On mine, I think you do a pinch zoom, but...
Oh yeah, I tried that, but my screen gets dirty. Yeah, so basically it's just looking like it's a string. So I'll have to figure that out, I guess, but it should be parsing it here.
Maybe click the next button. Maybe it hasn't parsed it yet. It's about to parse.
Hey guys, I bet this is the problem.
Stored as a string.
Is there any way to not store it as is that just what it is?
I think it has to be stored as a string. Go back to your program and tell it to go one step further, because I think it's stopped at the spot where it does the parsing. Wait, we went pretty far. We didn't do one step.
No, I did this. This guy. Is this what we're talking about, or this one?
Yeah, but I don't know what the one that points to the right does.
Okay. All right. Bear with me, guys. Give me a second here. All right. So we do this guy. So this is the one that we're doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So get to the spot where you were, because I want to see if it parses it at that next line.
Okay. So here's where we get it.
One more time.
One more down. All right. So characters is this.
So look at
And we're on the line 51.
Okay, so we're on line 151. Because you parsed it just right then.
Right.
Maybe you should. Can you parse it twice in a row? Like, say, JSON parse of this JSON parse, just to see if it does it. Because it shouldn't be a string once it's been parsed.
Do I need to have a semicolon on the end of the JSON thing?
You should always have a semicolon at the end of all of your code, except for
In
the.
Firebase?
Oh no, I don't know about Firebase. I didn't.
No, you
Did you
shouldn't
hard
have a
code that?
semicolon there.
Did you
Okay,
hard
so
code that in there, or did you put it there, like
so
with
th so
a
this
request?
is it just has it there. Did I?
Did
Oh
you
no,
type it in there? What I'm saying is, did you type your data into the Firebase, or
I
did you?
just pasted it.
Because what I put my data in there with a HTTP request, but that was because I have to get it and put it back over and over again, so that makes it different.
So does the data itself look like the problem? Oh, what the? When I hover over it, it's all. Let's refresh that. When I hover over it, it does not have quotes around it.
Okay.
Do we think that?
I don't know what I think. I'm
Yep.
confused.
Hey,
All right.
Michael, what's the URL of your project?
Which one? The Firebase thing?
No, the one
Your
we're
project.
looking at.
The program with the.
I haven't loaded. Hold on, let me load it up right now. Here, added bonus. Let me push it, but it is man GitHub. It's right here. I can paste it in the thing. Yeah. Put it in our Hangouts. It takes a minute to load it up in here. It's my old one. So basically, it should look like this, but restyled. And then when you, that's because there's any other sprites. We don't have to do all meeting for me. I feel bad I'm monopolizing everybody's time, so
No, no problem. Don't worry about it.
That's super weird.
Oh.
Because it basically looks like it's not parsing it. It's coming up with undefined as the name.
It's a good name.
It is a good name, yeah. And click through it. Still undefined. Yeah, so basically if I remove all this XML HTTP stuff and just put this array back, it works. Which is fun.
I just broke mine.
Oh, you just broke yours?
I was on the cusp, almost finished with the get stuff.
I feel you.
So I changed it to a put, like you said, and then I ran update, like and then it worked. My leaderboard that was stored, it was different. And then I tried to put in a new, like I changed another score set, tried to do it again, and it wasn't working. And it took me a while to figure out why, and it was because the put request stored the data in a different format than it had been before I used it. So my get request was no longer working. So then I went through and was tweaking my get request, and I thought I fixed it. I figured out what's wrong with it, and now it's gonna work. And then suddenly, it wasn't working. Nothing was working. Everything was breaking. And then I looked at my database, and it said null. So somehow when I was going through trying to fix it, I deleted everything that was in there. And there was nothing to get. So now I'm trying to put it back. And I can't. I have to use I want to use the put request, put it there, so that I know that it's putting it there it's there in the right format. Does that make sense? Trying to figure out why it's not doing anything when I push this button. What's that button doing? Okay. What is it doing?
All right, I'm gonna try something dumb. Always good, right?
It shouldn't be create leaderboard. It should be store leaderboard. Okay. I think I put my leaderboard back. Means that now I gotta see if the update works.
Go inside.
They suddenly got very quiet.
A lot of people thinking unexpected number in JSON at position 1. So if I try and parse it twice, it gives me a different error. Seems like a really silly way to do it.
Yeah, because after you parse it, it's no longer JSON. So parsing it a second time, it's going to say this isn't valid JSON.
Right, because it's no, parsing it with JSON. Right. No, you're right. So basically, JSON.parse turns it into a JSON. You can't JSON parse it again.
Correct.
Because it's not a string going to.
Why it's saying unknown token, because it's not a valid delimiter.
Yeah, I just need to remove the quotes.
Make sure. Now it says null again. Okay. Create the leaderboard again. Go for it. Let's see.
You know what all these backslashes are on the Firebase stuff?
No, I was wondering what those were myself.
I think it's for the
Quotes?
quotation mark. So that the quotation marks don't get it. Like, because when they want the quotation marks to be there, like when in C++, have you ever done C++?
Mm-mm.
Well, in C++, if you want to display a quotation mark, you have to put a backslash in front of it. Otherwise, it thinks you're declaring a string, or you're ending the string that you're in.
That's exactly what it's doing. So check it out, because it's right here, backslash, but the final one doesn't have that.
Yeah, so it's telling it, when you parse it, keep this here, because this is saying that the value is in a string.
Yeah, and it keeps adding the semicolon to it. It's just super weird.
JSON parser. Okay, do that. I feel like I'm really close. Almost got this working.
Isn't that nice feeling?
Yes, a very nice feeling. No, okay. Every time I do it wrong, it deletes my data, so I have to put it back.
Oh, that's frustrating.
At least I have the function to put it there still. I didn't delete
Right.
it when I didn't need it anymore.
After before you call set characters, just do a console.log of characters. And let's see what you actually have.
What is the function?
So no space, yep, and then characters.
I don't use that enough. Oops. Yeah, so that actually looks right, though.
Yeah, it does.
Okay. So developments. It updated my leaderboard, but it has a console error still.
Oh, what's the console error?
It says uncaught syntax error, unexpected token C in JSON at position 0 at json.parse and then anonymous.
Oh, that's like what I just was seeing when it was not JSON. It was when it was already JSON, and I was trying to make it into JSON.
I'm parsing, which is unJSONing.
Parsing is JSONing. Stringify is turning into a string.
I don't want it. It is a string. I'm trying to unstring it.
Oh, yep, that's parse. Sorry, I wish I knew more.
JSON is a string. So when you're trying to put it into JSON, you want to stringify it. And when you're trying to take it out of JSON, you parse it. Okay, it's working. I'm gonna do this
Is that right?
again.
Am I backwards? I thought stringify turned it into a string.
It does, but JSON is a string. It stores everything in string. So what I'm saying is that when you want to store something in JSON, you stringify it. And when you want
No, JSON is an object.
but it stores things in strings, is what I'm saying.
When you want to store JSON into a database, you store it as a string.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
Oh, so you have to stringify it and then dump it in the database.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, stringify is like you're liquefying, or you're like stringing it, making it into a string. It's not a very good example, but that's what comes to mind. Boy, this is weird. So that looks right. I suppose I can just console.log that too. Might as well, guys.
That's right there. Okay. Sure. Stop it.
Let me see that line again.
It's because nav counter hasn't been set yet.
Yeah.
Because it's undefined. We haven't gotten to nav counter. Seems to be the first thing hit. It's a mystery.
So bizarre. Okay. Submit. Okay. That's a problem. Why is that?
Hmm. Think there are like weird special characters or something? Is this where I made it?
It's working.
Congratulations.
Oh,
Just don't touch it. It might break again.
For real. Walk away. You'll end up like me. With everything broken.
Michael, I'm really still not sure why there's that semicolon at the end of your data. It
I
really should.
took it
I know
out.
you tried to.
It doesn't
But
let me remove it.
I know that's weird because it shouldn't be there. I don't really know if maybe that's what's throwing it off because
Well,
it JSONifies something that has a semicolon.
so how do I add?
I have a suggestion.
What's up?
If you like, here, I'm going to share my screen so you can see what I'm talking about. Because I personally wouldn't have known how to type it in correctly. So that's maybe you could put it in there. That way you're putting it in there in the form you want to use it.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you get it back, you can see what you get back. See, this is how mine's stored when I put it in there. It didn't used to look like this. It used to look like yours. When I used a post request, it looked like yours does. But when I used the put request, it did this.
But Mike, I think I just saw your database, and that one you just pasted in didn't have the semicolon, did it?
No, it did not.
Try and use that one. Try and delete your other characters and create a new one without a semicolon.
So I just did that. Let's see. Let's see what happens. Name undefined. Did I do that incorrectly?
Oh, I see why.
No semicolon here.
I'm so silly.
What happened?
I thought it looked like it had the names were stored with a double quotes on the front and then a single quote on the back. But it's just because it's moved over and you can't see both of them. Oh, I was laughing at myself.
So, look, check it out. So this is what we have now.
Hmm.
And so we still get this data down here with no semicolon, right? Right?
Yeah.
But we're still undefined here. Is this wrong? Is this syntax correct? It worked for the other stuff.
Yeah, your syntax is correct.
This is blowing my mind.
Have you tried sending stuff to the teacher and asking him questions? Because he has responded
No.
with hints at me when I.
Hey Michael, just to try and figure out what's going on, do another console.log, but just do characters bracket 0 and see what it has at that data point.
This. Probably don't need all these breakpoints. It has a squiggly bracket.
You see, it's not storing it as an array. It's storing it as a string still.
Yep. What? Did I do the parsing incorrectly? Let me see. Let me see. That's going to be really annoying, but at least possibly fixable. Response.text, is that the wrong?
Hey, try after counter the bracket, do dot name instead. Like not two brackets. Yep.
The second two, like around name, to say.
So go. So
Right,
just do dot, delete the bracket, the quote, and then just do dot name. So
what we're thinking is going on though is that it is string. It's thinking it's a string, which means that this in theory will also, I mean, we'll find out. This?
Yeah.
That says it's undefined. So that's the best guess, is that this is still thinking it's a string.
Can
Yeah,
I see
it's
your
definitely
database?
still thinking it's a strings for some reason.
Yeah,
Can I see
so
your database? Like your Firebase database where it's stored?
you would like to see it, is that what you said?
Yeah. So what mine was doing, it still does it, is the whole thing that it gets back is a string, and I have to unparse it. But as soon as I dereference and I have another object in there, that is a string, and I have to parse it again. Does that make sense? I parsed mine twice.
You do parse it twice.
Have you parsed yours twice?
I did earlier, but it just said it was a problem. How do I find out what this is? Is there like a, how do I find out if it's in the JSON format? Like say I go, you guys know what I'm saying here? So how do I find out if characters is a JSON object?
Hold on.
I don't know.
So check it out. It's got quotes here.
Yeah.
And its response text is adding a quote.
Double
Do
quote.
type of. Do console.log, type of, one word, characters.
All right. Console.log.
Yeah.
Type of?
Yeah. Sorry. Before characters.
Oh, sorry.
Just write the word type of.
Caps or anything?
Nope. And in space.
Does it need to be in parentheses?
No. Just like that.
Like this? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you guys for bearing with me. This is ridiculous. All right, string. Okay. Well, we've now verified that we're not crazy. Here, I have an idea. Doesn't like that either. Okay, the new idea. It's just got to be a data. It's got to be a data problem.
Yeah.
But it won't let me. Yeah, sure. Delete that. It's not working anyway. Oh, does it just hang out there? Okay.
It just takes a while.
Is there any? So it just puts quotes around it.
You gave it an
Always
S.
does it.
The other one didn't have an S. I don't know if that's going to cause you a problem somewhere.
It is definitely going to cause me a problem, but it's not turning out different anyway. Like I'm trying to see if there's a way where I can make it. Like, is it a database problem? Because this is. You know what I'm saying? Like, is there a way that we just say like it always is going to return a string? Is that what real-time database does, or something strange? No, it's always going to be a string. That's why we parse it.
Have you tried parsing it, like parsing the parse, or setting another variable and say parse that?
Yeah. So what I was doing was basically going through and said characters equals I'm going to get it to work and not understand what's going on again. So
Character is not defined. Weird. It's
because it's
characters
got an S,
without the
guys.
S.
Don't mind me. Yeah, unexpected number in JSON at position 1. Line
Number.
51. So when it goes to parse again, it's like, nope.
It's got a number? Is it because you start with a 0? Doesn't your data start with a 0?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to send something. I don't think this is what the problem is, but I'm going to send something in the chat. Go ahead and try and add this to your code. Right before you hit well, I'm sorry, I put XHTTP, but I don't think that's what you're using for your variable name. So you would put request dot set request header, and then put the rest of that. Put that right before. Yeah, do that right after you do your request dot open.
Right after this?
Yeah. And then change your XHTTP to request.
Just request, yeah.
All I can think of is maybe it's not encoding your characters right. I don't know.
Hold on. I've got to remove all this junk that I just put in that didn't work.
Comment them so that way if you want to bring them back, you can.
All right. Okay, so here we go. Stepping through that. What happened to the bottom of this area? Where did my console go?
Problem with the console dialog?
Oh my
That's
goodness.
weird.
Well, it's because I commented out.
Yes, that's true.
That makes sense. I'm a dummy. Like a total noob. All right.
I am a total noob, so there you go.
This is amazing because now my console's gone. Where'd it go? Here. Okay. Oops. Still undefined. Still a string. Oh my goodness. All right. I don't want to waste somebody else's time. I'm gonna look into it. This is the weirdest thing ever. It doesn't make any sense to me. But I'll mess around with it and see what I can figure out. Thank you
Yeah,
guys.
it is.
Thank you guys for your help.
Okay.
Sorry we didn't get further.
No, that's fine. It's super weird. It doesn't make sense to me, so I don't expect everybody to sit around here forever. Marie, you got yours working though, huh?
Yeah, now I just gotta try to figure out why the format won't do what I want it to.
Oh, fun.
I think I've got the only question I have for Mr. Brother Bear is is one tag, like you remember we're supposed to do HTML5 tags, video, audio, and canvas.
Mm-hmm.
If I just do audio, is that enough, or do I have to have more than one? Like, do I have to use canvas and audio? Or
yeah, I don't know. I'm just doing audio. We'll
Yeah,
see.
when you find that answer, let me know because I was wondering that too.
I haven't asked yet. So, yeah.
All right, everyone.
What I'm doing, and like, there's this one thing that I've been trying to fix for a while that I haven't. This this here, can you see that?
Nope.
Did I? Nope, I unshared instead of sharing. Share my screen. I forgot I was already sharing. So this is the description of the game hands. Like you play 7 hands, and this is what you are trying to get each time.
Mm-hmm.
And I want all of this stuff to come up here when there's room for it. I don't want it to stay down here. And I've tried to tell it to do that in my CSS. It says, if I remember correctly, that's called hands.
What?
So it's inline block, but it doesn't, nothing moves up. And I'm like, why won't it move up? Do you have any ideas? Another thing that bothers me is I would like this stuff to be in the center, so that when you move this, it's centered. But
that you just play with the margins. So it depends on how your HTML like divs are right there. Yeah. So you have a header. You've got a div for
that's the picture.
picture.
Yeah.
So in theory, you can just do like auto margins or something on your header, I think. Do you have a header?
Margin auto.
I do. It's up here.
Yeah.
Yeah, just do margin
right here.
auto. Okay, that's weird. Can you right click and inspect that element? Over, yep, there. Just right click. Inspect.
Never done that before in my life.
Oh, it's amazing. So if you go see down this bottom area, you can't see it on, but yeah, so if you click header in the console down there at the bottom.
This?
Yeah, header.
No, here.
Yeah, there you go. Did you tell it to be a certain width?
I think I told it a minute, like a percentage, 100%.
Oh, so that will probably comment that out if you can.
How do you
comment
comment out CSS?
It's a backslash asterisk, and then that may be the wrong slash. Let me look, and then one of those at the end again. So, no, that's right. Yeah. So that's done.
Well, I don't want it. I wanted it to adjust with the.
Right. I'm thinking.
One of the things, because I have this div down here.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't get the words to be centered until I put the words in another container. What did I put it in?
Yeah, I was going to suggest throwing everything that's in your header in a div and then playing around with that div. So it will be centered inside of your header. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because then you don't need the margin auto right here. You would just like throw another like placeholder div in the HTML of your, So if you go up to your header, everything inside of the header. So you're outside, or you could do that, I suppose too, whatever.
I'm going to try it. And then I gotta give it an ID, don't I?
Yeah. I don't think you want to call it header though.
Oh,
I call it whatever you want, but I think that's probably against protocol if I had to guess.
And then
Oh, you got to go to your
and it's ID, so it's that. Then
margin auto should center it. Yeah, I would remove margin auto from your header, if I understand it correctly. Just or that's good.
I can put it back pretty easily. No,
Nope.
Good. What about
you know what? Sometimes and I don't know why, but sometimes I have to clear my history for CSS stuff to work, and I don't know if there's some of it's cached or I don't know what.
Yeah.
It was Control Shift Delete.
No, that didn't work.
I hope that. If you have any like local storage on it or whatever, I don't know, but.
Yeah, I do. I do have local storage. This stuff is load, but I can put them back pretty easy.
Well, so if you so go see your console here down the bottom. You see the area on the right that you kind of have minimized. No, good elements. So see you can actually go in there and type stuff to play around with it. I always find that super helpful. So if you see that margin, you can double click the margin, and then just change the number. Like go into where the number's at. You can just.
Oh, interesting.
Is it working? Double click maybe. If you go.
Just highlight.
If you go into the box, the orange box, like click on the number. Yeah, type whatever you want there. 100. Yeah, perfect. It'll change it, which is useful. Maybe not for this particular thing.
Change it to play with it, or does it?
Just to play with it. Yeah. But basically, you can play with it in here, and then go change your code, and it'll kind of show you. So in theory, you could also do that for centering.
Yes.
So you have to save it and reload and all that.
I need this one.
All right, guys. Sorry, but I'm gonna have to cut out.
No, it's okay. Thank you for your help.
6 hours. So
Look at my.
I feel.
I had to step out away too, but I'm gonna just mute my mic. You guys,
it's okay.
I'm gonna look.
All right.
See what
I'll see you guys. Let me know if y'all need anything else in an email.
Okay. Thank you so much. Have a good evening.
Bye, guys.
I just want to see what that div I had down at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Which is enjoy your game. I want to see what the CSS is on that one.
Yeah.
I got it to center with that.
I think. Yeah, I'm not sure. It's quite possible that since your div is on the outside of your header is pushing out your div for head.
Maybe I should put it inside.
That's what I would do, because you want your header to be the background and your div to be what's inside of it. Yeah, just throw that in there. I don't know if this is going to work.
Take a try.
CSS is all magic to me.
Yes, me too. Like when I do something and everything goes wacky, I'm like, what? Why?
Nope.
That's all right. I think I'm going to just call it a day.
All right.
But thanks for trying to help me.
Sure.
I'm thrilled that my program is working.
Yeah, congratulations. I'm going to play around with mine and see if I can get it to do stuff too. So, all right. Well, have a good evening. Brad will see everybody gone when he gets back. So,
Yep.
I'll talk to you later.
Bye.